Architecture of a broken spirit. I've been thinking a lot lately about the differences between having an opinion and having an insight. So we live in a world that's obsessed with being informed. We spend our lives being entertained, being impressed by what we see on the screens, or quickly deciding if we agree or disagree with the latest headline. But there's a trap in that. You see, it's a passive way of living. It's a way of avoiding the actual heavy lifting of looking at our own lives. Real growth, the kind that actually changes your character, isn't about gathering data, it's about self actualization. It's quite difficult to say. It's about taking an idea and asking, how does this apply to me right now in the context of my own life? And if I'm being honest, the biggest obstacle to that growth is sitting right in our pockets. Think about the way we show up for people today. We've become masters of the facade. In psychology, we call this impression management, but let's call it what it really is. It's a performance. We create these digital versions of ourselves, should I say, sorry, that are perfect, are polished, and entirely dishonest. And here's the kidney punch. If you met someone who behaved towards you the way you behave on your phone, someone who only showed you a filtered mask, who ghosted you when things got real, or checked a glowing box every time you spoke, would you trust them? Probably not. When we prioritize the digital facade over authentic vulnerability, our spirit begins to break. We start valuing the image of our life more than the experience of it. We become untrustworthy, not to others, but to ourselves. We lose the ability to be virtuous and valuable because we're too busy being seen. So we like to tell ourselves we're in control. We think we choose to pick up the phone, but if I can say it properly, the neurobiology tells a different story. These devices are built on what psychologists call intermittent reinforcement. It's the same brain logic that runs a slot machine. You aren't making a conscious choice to scroll, you're responding to a neurological reflex. The human spirit is defined by agency, the ability to stop, reflect, and choose a response based on our values. But smartphones are designed to bypass that, the wise mind that we've got, and keep us in a reactive mind. When your life becomes a series of reactions to notifications, you aren't the driver anymore, you're the passenger in a vehicle steered by an algorithm that profits from your distraction. That is how the spirit erodes. It stops being an active force and becomes a passive observer. So why do we do it? Why do we stay hooked? And I think it's because the phone is the ultimate anesthetic. So life's hard, self-reflection is harder. When we feel a spark of anxiety or the weight of a destructive habit or the loneliness of a quiet room, the phone offers us an instant out. It's a digital dopamine hit that numbs the discomfort. But those uncomfortable moments, the boredom, the silence, those themselves are the doorways to the self. By numbing the pain of the moment, we also numb the possibility of a change. We use 5G speeds to run away from the patterns we need to face. We're using noise to drown out the very reflections that would actually set us free. If I could talk to a younger version of myself, the teenager, The teenage me, basically, before the world was always on, turned on. Uh, I don't think I'd give myself advice about money or success. I'd, I'd tell my younger self to guard their attention. I'd tell them that their ability to sit in a room alone and think is the only one thing that makes them a real person. The human spirit isn't broken by technology itself. It's broken by the absence of the self. It's broken when we trade our focus for a feed. The real work, the psychology of being human starts when the screen goes black. It starts when we have the courage to put the phone down, look at our own destructive patterns, and ask, who am I when I'm not performing and I'm someone I can actually trust? That's not a question. It's just not a question. That's where your life actually begins.